Patrick Michael Pat Rafter is an Australian former world number 1 tennis player. He twice won the men's singles title at the US Open and was twice the runner-up at Wimbledon. He was known for his natural serve-and-volley style of play. He became the first man in the Open era to win Montreal, Toronto, Cincinnati and the US Open in the same year. This achievement has been dubbed the American Summer Slam. Tennis career, 1990s, Rafter turned professional in 1991 and won his first career singles title in 1994 in Manchester. Prior to 1997, this was the only ATP singles title he had won. Rafter's breakthrough came in 1997. At that year's French Open he reached the semi-finals, falling in 4 sets to Sergei Bruguera. Then he surprised many by winning the US Open, defeating Greg Rusedski in a 4-set final and Andre Agassi and Michael Chang, among others, in earlier rounds. He was the first non-American to win the title since Stefan Edberg in 1992. This was his first Grand Slam title, and catapulted him ahead of Chang to finish the year ranked number 2 in the world, behind only Pete Sampras. The unexpected nature of his US Open title led many, including Hall of Famer and 4-time U.S. Open champion John McEnroe to criticize Rafter as a one-slam wonder. 1998 was a particularly strong year for Rafter, who won the Canadian Open and Cincinnati in a row. Rafter defeated 9th-ranked Richard Krajicek in the Toronto final and 2nd-ranked Pete Sampras in the Cincinnati final. When asked about the difference between himself and Rafter following titles, stated 10 Grand Slams, and that a player has to come back and win a Grand Slam again in order to be considered great. Following his title at Cincinnati, Rafter won a US Open warm-up tournament in Long Island, New York. Entering the US Open as the defending champion, he reached the final again, defeating Sampras in a 5-set semi-final. Rafter pointedly took issue with Sampras' refusal to show him respect in defeat. "That is what really upsets me about him," Rafter said, "and the reason why I try to piss him off as much as I can." Rafter then defended his US Open title by defeating fellow Australian player Mark Philippoussis in 4 sets, committing only 5 unforced errors throughout the match. When asked about Sampras' earlier comments about having to win another Grand Slam in order to be considered great, Rafter replied, "Maybe you can ask him that question, if he thinks that now. For me, I won another slam, and it hasn't sunken yet. It's very, very exciting for me, especially to repeat it." Altogether, Rafter won 6 tournaments in 1998, finishing the year number 4 in the world. At the 1999 French Open, Rafter drew future world number 1 and 17-time Grand Slam champion Roger Federer in the first round, making him the first ever opponent of Federer in the main draw of a Grand Slam tournament. Rafter defeated him in 4 sets, after losing the first set. Rafter then reached a Wimbledon semi-finals for the first time in 1999, where he lost in straight sets to Agassi, the first of 3 consecutive years that the two met in the Wimbledon semi-finals. July 1999 saw Rafter holding the world number 1 men's singles ranking for 1 week, making him the shortest reigning world number 1 in ATP Tour history. As the 2-time defending US Open champion, Rafter lost in the first round of the tournament, retiring in the 5th set against car copyright Rick Bielin after succumbing to shoulder tendinitis. Rafter's shoulder injury wound up being serious enough to necessitate surgery. He won the Australian Open men's doubles title in 1999, making him one of few players in the modern era to win both a singles and doubles Grand Slam title during their career. He and Japaragraph RKMAN also won doubles titles at the ATP Masters Series events in Canada and Indian Wells. 2000s, his ranking had fallen to number 21 by the time he reached a Wimbledon final in July 2000. In the semi-finals, Rafter defeated Agassi 7-5, 4-6, 7-5, 4-6, 6-3. The match was hailed as a classic, particularly because of their contrasting playing styles, with Agassi playing primarily from the baseline and Rafter attacking the net. Rafter faced Sampras in the final, who was gunning for a record-breaking 7th Wimbledon title overall. While Rafter made a strong start to the match and took the first set, After the match he would claim that he had choked partway through the second set, and was then not able to get back into his game. Sampras won in 4 sets. In 2001, Rafter reached the semi-finals of the Australian Open, but despite holding a 2-1 lead and having the support of the home crowd, Rafter lost the match to Agassi in 5 sets. Later in the year, Rafter again reached a Wimbledon final. For the 3rd straight year, he faced Agassi in the semi-finals and won in yet another 5-setter, 2-6, 6-3, 3-6, 6-2, 8-6. Much like the previous year's semi-final, this match also received praise for the quality of play that the two men displayed. In the final, he squared off against Ivania Evaya, who had reached the Wimbledon final 3 times before but had slid down the rankings to world number 125 following injury problems. In a 5-set struggle that lasted just over 3 hours, Ivania Evaya prevailed. Rafter was on the Australian Davis Cup team that lost in the final in 2000 and 2001. He was unable to play in the 1999 Davis Cup final Euro, where Australia beat France to win the Cup Euro, because of injury. Rafter was on the Australian teams that won the World Team Cup in 1999 and 2001. Rafter is one of only 2 tennis players, along with Sergei Bruguera, to have always won against Roger Federer, having defeated him thrice. He is also the only player who has a winning record with the 17-time Grand Slam winner on all the 3 main tennis surfaces, hard, clay and grass. He retired from the professional tour at the end of 2002 after winning a total of 11 singles titles and 10 doubles titles. He returns to the courts annually to play World Team Tennis for the Philadelphia Freedoms. Rafter did return at the beginning of the 2004 season to play doubles at 2 tournaments only. The 2004 Australian Open and the 2004 AAPT Championships. However, he lost in round 1 of both events, playing alongside Joshua Eagle. On Australia Day 2008, Pat Rafter was inducted into the Australian Open Hall of Fame, 2010s. On January 12, 2014, Rafter, aged 41, announced that he would be partnering current Australian number 1 Lleyton Hewitt in the doubles draw of the 2014 Australian Open. The comeback, however, was short-lived as the pair went down in straight sets to Erik Butorek and Raven Klaasen in the first round. ATP Champions Tour. At the 2009 AEGON Masters Tennis, Rafter lost his opening round-robin match against the 1987 Wimbledon champion Pat Cash to Euro-6, 6-2, 10-6. In a much-anticipated match and reply of the 2001 Wimbledon final, Rafter faced Ivania Evaya. Rafter won the match when Ivanisevic retired while serving for the opening set, 3-5. Despite his performance, the retirement was enough to push Rafter into the final against Stefan Edberg. In what is described as a spellbinding serve-and-volley showdown, Rafter won the match 6-7, 6-4, 11-9. This represented the first time that Rafter was able to defeat Edberg. Equipment. Rafter, while professional, used Prince sports racket and Reebok clothes. Since the beginning of 2011, he began using Dunlop sport racket, continuing with Reebok clothes. Personal life. Rafter was born in Mount Isa, Queensland, and is 3rd youngest in a family of 9 children. He began playing tennis at the age of 5 with his father and 3 older brothers. In April 2004, Rafter married his girlfriend Lara Feltham at a resort in Fiji. Their daughter, India, was born in May 2005. Rafter donated half of the prize money from his 1997 and 1998 U.S. Open wins to the Starlight Children's Foundation. He attempted to do so anonymously in 1997 but was unsuccessful. He has created his own charity organization that raises funds for children's causes each year. Rafter also supports animal rights and the work of animal liberation groups such as MakeItPossible.com. He has occasionally played reserve-grade Australian rules in the Sydney AFL for the North Shore Bombers. Since his retirement, Rafter has gone on to become an underwear model for Bonds, a brand ambassador for the Mantra Group of hotels and a successful businessman. In October 2010 he was announced as the next Davis Cup captain for Australia. Honours. In honour of Patrick Rafter, the 5,500-seat centre court of the Queensland Tennis Centre in Brisbane, Australia was named Pat Rafter Arena. In 2002, he won the Australian of the Year award. This created some controversy as he had spent much of his career residing in Bermuda for tax purposes. He was elected to the International Tennis Hall of Fame and inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame in 2006. Major finals, Grand Slam finals, singles, doubles, Masters Series finals, singles, 6, career finals, singles, wins, runner-ups, doubles, wins, runner-ups, performance timeline, singles, LQ equals lost in qualifying draw, doubles, ATP Tour career earnings, video, Wimbledon 2000 semi-final Agassi vs Rafter starring, Andre Agassi, Patrick Rafter. Standing room only, DVD release date, August 16, 2005, run time, 213 minutes, ASIN, B0100A343QY. Wimbledon 2001 final, Rafter vs Ivanisevic standing room only, DVD release date, October 30, 2007, run time, 195 minutes, ASIN, B0100V02CT6. See also: List of male underwear models, references. External links: Patrick Rafter at the Association of Tennis Professionals, Patrick Rafter at the International Tennis Federation, Patrick Rafter at the Davis Cup, Patrick Rafter at the International Tennis Hall of Fame, 2002 Australian of the Year, Pat Rafter Cherish the Children.